loved all the things I do. I texted after beers wasted, and I never thought I'd be here again. After last weekend, after the weekend, after this weekend.
Okay, right, Connor, I'm gonna just pass over to you to introduce this.
Right, okay, let's see what comes out. Hello and welcome to the W.H.A.T podcast. I'm Connor, that's Gregor, and that's Elliot.
What's happening?
Let's talk shite.
Yeah, so basically, we're starting a wee podcast, if you haven't noticed, and we're going to be talking about Scottish comedy mainly, a bit about who we are, what we're up to, and just general chat and shite.
Yep.
We're hoping we'll get some guests on, we'll see how it goes. I actually got some pretty interesting people lined up for the rest of the, what will we call it, a season? Is that what we're going for?
A season.
A season of We Think That podcast.
Is season American or is that series?
I don't know. Well, that's a very good question.
Yep.
One that I don't have the answer to, unfortunately.
Nah, well...
Or do you say I'm on the 4th season of Prison Break or the 4th series?
Well, it varies, does it not?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, like, that thing with...
Why are we talking about this?
I don't know. You brought it up.
Let it go. Regardless. We'll see how this goes. And if people are actually entertained by this, then we'll keep doing them. But if this is going to be a one-hit wonder or a one-hit flop, then we'll just leave it at that. But without further ado, should we kind of just get into it then?
Yep, sure, fire away. What you want to chat about? You want to do some questions?
I feel like we were already getting into it about seasons and series.
I know, I'm into
it. Well, actually, in all seriousness, I wanted to use this time to just do a wee bit of like reflection on what we've done so far. Because I think that's one question I see quite a lot actually, is people want to know a bit more about us. Because all they really see is like some stupid videos or when we go and do live shows. But I guess we're not like stand-up comedians in the sense that, you know, we have an act that's already prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people don't really know who we are. So Connor, tell us a wee bit about yourself.
So my name's Connor, I'm 26, I love long walks on the beach. I'm just a wee guy for Yoker. Studied acting and now I'm stuck with you
Like
two.
you're the fucking X Factor.
I know.
Just a wee guy for Yoker.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall. What do you want to know?
Why did you start doing comedy?
Because I'm funny, mate. No, I don't know. I didn't even want to do acting, to be honest.
Did you not?
Nah. I didn't know what I was going to do when I was leaving school, so I applied for 3 courses: fitness, joinery and acting. And I got the acting audition first, and I went and I done my audition. They're like, alright, sound, you want a place? And I was like, okay, sure.
Did you say joinery? You're going to be a joiner?
Aye. Yeah. They've been fucked because I've got a squint eye, so nothing would have been straight. But aye, and that's how I ended up getting into it. Your back's fucked.
My back's fucked. I don't know if you noticed, I've just been squinting like loads, just trying to get myself into a position that isn't fucking painful. I didn't know that though. I thought you always wanted to do.
Nah.
When did you start realising that was what, like?
Probably when. So I started in like the bottom of the bottom at college, like the NQ, like the basic that you can enter, and I was doing that, and it was going all right. It seemed like heavy easy, and then I was getting like the main parts and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is class, by the way.
So I should probably interject and clarify at this moment. So we actually all met through studying acting. I think a lot of people don't know that.
Aye.
That this actually started because we all studied together in Edinburgh.
Yeah. So this was like 3 years before I met you. So I
I
done 3 years at college. You or just 2, weren't you?
Elliot, what about you? When did you start thinking? Because you were always into music, weren't you? That was always your...
Aye, I started, well, I never picked music at school. A lot of folks seem to think that, because you play a guitar and all that, you must have picked music at school. And I was like, nah, just self-taught. Because I just used to watch clips, say, like, Beatles and stuff like that, and then just watch where they were putting their fingers. Well, that's right, on the... on the guitar.
So why'd you go into studying acting and not music?
Well, when I was at school, I was actually, like, very, very shy. But it was only shy, like, when I went to high school.
All right.
Which was quite weird. At primary school, I was a fucking nutter. But as soon as I got to high school, I think it was just all kind of, like, overwhelming, just this big place and all these new people. I was like, oh, fuck, man, I don't know if I can cope. And then I was good at English at school, and during a parents' night, I think one of my English teachers said to my mum and dad, he's really good, like, in class with his work and everything, but he's just dead quiet, dead, like, into himself, like, maybe coax him into doing drama, see if we come out shell a bit. And I done it, and I didn't think then, all I thought was it was going to help with confidence, and it did help with confidence, but then I did a play in 5th year in drama, and it was Blood Brothers, see, by Willie Russell. We did the play version, even though it's a musical, and once I done that, I think that's when I decided that's what I wanted to do, because I liked a bit of the attention.
That's a better story than mine.
I'm a wee boy for yoga.
And
Boy for yoga, I was going to be a joiner.
Let's turn the tables, Gregor. How did you get into acting, first of all?
I don't know if it was a case of how I got into acting, or rather just that
You fell into it.
no, man, I really struggled with like academics in school. I always really struggled with like memorizing things, which is weird considering you learn scripts all the time.
Yeah.
But no, I just always found that I preferred having more of a laugh, being more just like physical.
Class clown, would you say? Were you a class clown?
No, because I actually really got on with my teachers. Like, I got on with a lot of them, but I think it was honestly when I was about like 11 or 12. I got given a part in a show, and it was a panto. I'd done stuff before, but it was the first time I'd heard people laugh like properly at something you were saying, and that's when I was like, oh, that's quite addictive, that. And there's like a confidence that came with that. So that's probably all I'd say. But that's where I think it stemmed from, because I asked myself this a lot, and you must have this when you started out doing that stuff, especially when you have lecturers and whatnot who tell you like. We all went. I don't know about you, definitely me. I felt like I went through this phase where I was like, "Oh man, I want the fucking McAvoy route."
Aye.
I mean, well, I mean, you got more McAvoy than me. My eyes are fucking socially distanced, but like I've got the more fucking Timothy Spall, fucking wee Andy Serkins vibe going on or something. But no. But I wanted to do the more serious stuff, and then eventually realised that comedy always kind of found its way.
But it's not as if
What?
you're not like shite at serious stuff, because mind we done punk rock and like you're,
Aye, that
you're
was
heavy
good.
good at the serious stuff.
I appreciate that. That's good, Max. That's
I know.
You
It was
were-
actually really good. I'd say that was probably one of the best scenes I've ever done in an actual drama.
just doing the serious stuff like that.
Aye, well, mainly punk rock when we done that. It was a scene, obviously, with us three in it, when this bastard shot
Was
us.
it when he killed us?
Aye.
Prick.
But
You
it's
got it
stuff.
the worst. Actually, you get shot in the knee.
Yeah, you did.
Aye.
Aye, shot you in the
Then,
knee.
Yep.
then he shot you in the chest.
No, the worst was when you slapped me in the face and you had your ring on when you were meant to take it off.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
bad.
Right,
But
that was a
stuff-
chain reaction, that. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because see, once you slapped him, he actually did get a wee bit raging. And when he went for you,
Yeah.
he was like a fucking wee pit bull. And I was trying to hold him back. And when I tried to hold him back, I don't know what it is with you. He just,
flung a
aye,
chair.
he just started flinging shit. And he flung the chair and it split my leg open. Like, literally while we were like doing a live performance. This wasn't even in rehearsals.
But do you think like stuff like this helps though? Obviously, talking about the like that serious stuff that we've done, because I think honestly, see with the perception that we give off, a lot of people would not assume that that's the sort of route that you went down. So especially a lot of like other stand-ups that we meet and stuff, I think a lot of people are quite surprised when you go on and you do like a musical kind of, especially at comedy clubs, when you go on and you do like a musical comedy act. People are like, oh, what the fuck? But I think that's pretty normal for us considering we come from that sort of
Yeah.
background. But it's like a weird mix of the two, isn't it? It's like you're taking something that you wouldn't think you'd train for,
Yeah.
and you're mixing it with having trained for something, and you create this like weird hybrid.
It's kind of fucked up, innit? I think it's because we're wearing trackies as well. Nobody expects it, too.
No,
It's kind
but
of
we've kind of, I think honestly, man, I'll be proud. I think we've calmed all that down quite a bit.
it's less like, oh, look at us, we negs. It's more like,
yeah. You've got well, we're also in our fucking mid-20s now.
Yeah.
We started writing this shit when we were like 20, 21.
Yeah.
I think you just get to a point where you realise like you need to just.
we're mature now.
Aye, well,
I
that's
wouldn't
the
say
thing.
that. Colin,
Well, I'd say it's not so much mature. I'd say it's just our personalities. You can see our personalities have came out more, like when we've been doing it, compared to when you look back at when we like originally started doing it. You're right,
Your back's fucked. Right, tell us how you fucked your back.
So it was New Year's Eve, right?
Oh,
But it was actually New Year's. It was New Year's Day by this
After
point.
12.
Yeah. No, it was close at about 4 or 5 in the morning, and I was just walking down a set of stairs, And before I know it, I'd reached the bottom without taking 2 steps. I was like, whoa, this is some heavy matrix shit. And then before I know it, I'm like, lying there spazzed out on the ground, like, why is my arm twitching? And I just got this rush down my leg. And I'm like, oh, fuck that, Happy New Year. What's your New Year's resolution? Don't die.
Were you just like lying at the bottom of the stairs, like crippled?
So, yeah, a wee bit. I had a bit of a moment actually where I'd realised that I'd fucked it, but my brain was like 2 steps behind the pain. So, 2 steps in front of the pain. So I knew the pain was about to kick in, and I'd kind of identified that I was rubbered, and I was like, right, this is only going to anaesthetise this so much, and then the pain's going to kick in. And I just remember having this thought of like, how am I going to spend these next 10 seconds before I realise I can't stand up? And I just look up at the wall and went, that tile's squint. I just remember seeing that there was a tile out of place and then couldn't walk.
Because when you told me, like, I was thinking, here, he's fucked. Because you were like, I'm lying in my bed.
Mate, I couldn't stand up.
I can't move. I can't feel my legs.
I couldn't stand up the next.
And then I messaged you and said it's fine. You can play the keyboard in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I mean,
I forgot about that.
no, but not. In all seriousness, though, no, it was really, really fucking painful, man. For about 4 days, I got a wee circular cushion that I can sit on now.
Is that for doing the toilet?
I think
I haven't used it for doing the toilet. That might be great. That would be a weird one.
I don't think you use that for.
No, you don't. I don't even know why I stopped and questioned that. No, Corey, absolutely don't fucking do that. It's weird.
No, you just.
I thought it was like a wee. Could you not put it around the toilet rim and just sit on it?
No,
It'd be comfy.
No, but it's meant to be comfy to sit on, but not to actually like try and aim a shite.
Yeah, but you know that's something you actually would do though.
Has it got a hole
Like, you
in the middle?
definitely would do it. Anytime you didn't know how to use your fucking
what's your deepest darkest fetish? I like to take the wee circular rings and try and shite through them on the toilet.
I'm talking about the bidet. I'm still shocked at how you use it.
A bidet.
Aye.
Yeah, so
It's quite intimate, huh?
Because
Yeah, bidet's
I've
an
just been
intimate
using it as
experience.
basically a hose on my arse. Because anytime I would go to your house, even if it was for a pee, I'd use the bidet to
well, we
clean
give
my
a wee
arse.
rundown on what a bidet is,
Aye.
just in case.
And
So a bidet is it's basically like a mini toilet. It's like a mini bath for your ass, and you sit in it, preferably with mildly warm water, and you basically just like you're meant to like scoop the inner workings of your arse cheeks, and scoop out all the dirt, shite.
You actually tried to make that so diplomatic, like on how to clean your
the
ass.
dirt from your arse.
Listen, you never know who your sponsor's going to be, man. We could get like B-Day sponsors.
B-Day
Yeah,
sponsors.
that's a great shit. You seen the toilets?
Happy B-Day! That's not fucking funny.
Nah.
Yeah.
So I was just.
Is it bidet? Is it bidet?
I
or
guess
is
it
bidet?
depends if you're in Tenerife or no. Because if you're on holiday, you might feel a wee bit fancy and go bidet.
Bidet.
It's a bidet,
Sounds French.
right?
Never mind Tenerife. Sounds French.
I'll
Le
find out.
bidet. But I was just using it as a hose on my arse, and then you said no, it's a full like sort of 20-minute process.
But even at that, like hosing your arse down while you're having a shite. Like,
It's
what-
not. It's after you've taken a shite.
Yeah.
Aye, but again, like, it's the equivalent of like, you can wash a car, but like you've got a hose, but where's a sponge? You need the soap, mate.
That's a fair point.
So,
Otherwise, you're just spraying.
so just sorry, before my brain gets too white with arse talk. What's the like on the topic of arse and shite? What's the shitest thing you've ever done in one of our shows? Like on stage and that. What's the shit? What's like honestly because we're funny, right? But we're not. You can't always be funny, and there are times that I've seen all of us have fucked up or said something a bit like stupid. So tell me what's like an experience but one that's personal to you rather than one I
Right. Well, I fucking see the actor one where you made me smash eggs and milk on my head. I forgot about that.
Was it the one with the eggs?
Aye.
The actor.
And I was like, oh, to become a chicken, you must be the chicken.
Was that the? So I made you do I wrote a sketch a while ago that was like a McDonald's advert.
Yep.
And you were auditioning for a part of a chicken.
Yep.
But you're a method actor. So the whole point, and obviously the whole thing with method actors is they take everything literally. So I had you literally cracking eggs on
On
your
my
head at Webster's
And
Theatre.
milk. Pouring milk on my head as
Aye,
well.
but
Why
not
did you
all
let
in
me
one-
get away with it?
Aye, not all in
Why
one
did I
show.
do it? And then we went for a night out after it.
Yeah, I don't know why you let me do. Why you did that?
Because it was funny.
Oh fuck! In fairness, remember I had to do it with you with the gravy for one of the shows.
No, we didn't.
Then we went out after with pure gravy heat.
Well, hold on. Before that, what's yours then? What's your moment?
What's my moment? Oh, probably. I actually don't know of a moment where I've like died on stage. Probably.
We've got one for you. Don't worry, mate. If you
I can't
struggle, it's
remember.
we can help you.
Remind me, what's one?
Connor.
Is it then?
It's the one we're both thinking of. Yeah.
What one is it?
We let you introduce a song once where you fae. And we put you on the spot and we were like, Elliot's going to introduce this one. And you're
What is it I said?
you're like,
Fucking face, fucking dropped.
he's like, do you ever have a mate, right?
Oh,
And
that was Hingway. That was Panopticon. Yeah, I remember that one.
You ever have a mate and so you see your mate and then you see one of your other mates that's not your mates and you're like, where do you fae? That's what this song's about.
You'd have been better off just getting a piss out of stuff instead of coming and introduce that song.
you
The
fucked.
thing was about that though, it wasn't even so much what you said, it was the fact that I don't think you were standing close enough to the microphone. So we heard you like completely balls that up, but they couldn't hear a thing. So there was just this amazing that if you couldn't have written this, man, this awkward silence that followed after it. And you thought it was because we all thought it was because you just talked absolute rubbish, but it's because they couldn't hear you. So it was just so awkward, and we just had to like move on.
Oh man, I don't know. It's weird, man. I can't ever just be myself on stage.
Can you not? That's interesting.
I can't do it. I've tried so many times. See, just actually just talking as myself in front of loads of people and stuff. That's why I could never do stand up. I just couldn't do it. I just shite myself. But whereas whenever we're actually like portraying characters, it's, I don't know, it sounds a wee bit kind of like cliche or whatever, but once I'm acting, like portraying a character, you forget like where you're and all that kind of shit.
That's interesting.
I know what
It's
you mean.
weird, man.
Aye, I know what you mean, because I kind of get like that as well. See, if you told me to go and do a presentation in front of people, I would start like heavy clamming up and all that. But see, if you were to say go and do a performance for people, it'd be sound.
Yeah, aye.
So it's probably the same as
I
that.
just get really fucking nervous,
Yeah.
man. Honestly, it's horrible.
You hate talking.
You do
You
hate
hate
talking.
I
I
know.
talk too much, and you hate talking.
It's a great balance.
It's a good man.
What about you? What's something that you've done? You've went, this is
I
shit.
mean, I've done it loads. I've
Tell-
done it loads.
what's the
I
big
think
one?
one of the honestly, that's I think one of the worst
You get my
ones.
donut.
I should have brought it. I think one of the worst ones that happened for me was probably we did a Christmas show once.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember this? It was like back in 2018.
Right.
Did a Christmas show, and bear in mind I'd wrote it in like a month, so half these sketches were awful and they should never have seen the light of day. But there was one of them that I made sure that we did, and it was like a granddad sketch, right? It was a granddad sketch, and I thought I was smashing it. I thought I was hilarious. I thought I was so funny, but I'd realised people weren't laughing because I was funny. They were laughing because my whole costume had like fallen off,
Aye.
and it was all over the floor. And
Because you had like a wee fake mustache.
but I realised it
didn't
wasn't funny at all, and that's when I was like, sometimes you just got to accept that something's not good.
Yeah.
I think, see, because I mean, this is probably different for you guys, but see, when it comes to writing some of the stuff, I feel like a different weight when we perform it. If you guys are performing stuff I've written, I don't really care about it because I trust you. But you see, when it's me performing my own stuff, I sometimes panic more because I've got like a different mindset going into it. So I get what you're saying about you prefer performing as characters, but see, for me, because it's kind of all coming from a perception that I've written from, I still feel like it's all kind of me, even though it's not.
Would you say that you're all right with us doing it? Because if it flops, you can go, they were just doing it shite. Whereas
Well, I
if
say
it
that to you all the time, don't I?
If it flops and you do it,
It's different.
it's your writing and
yeah.
you're.
Well,
That's like double the pressure, isn't it?
there's a part of that. I think that's why with the online stuff as well, I do it. I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable now when we do like comedy clubs to be ourselves during it. I think it's a nice balance, but I think especially with the online stuff, I do everything under like an alias.
Yeah.
So it's either Micaiah, it's Luigi's, and obviously use the same. So I think with the online stuff, because it's literally like 15 second or like a minute long videos, I don't think I could ever really just do that as me. Because I'll be honest, mate, I don't know how you feel, but because you do comedy, do you sit in the pub with your mates, and your mates are like, you should be funnier than this?
Aye, tell me a joke.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Mates that I'm like close with have never done that, but I do sometimes feel that perception of, because you do comedy stuff, people think you're going to be really, really funny. But the reality is you fucking aren't. or, you know, it's just not all the time.
The thing with us as well, I think with comedy, like a lot of it, even with stand-ups, it is all scripted. I think that's what some people seem to forget as well. Well, most of it's scripted, I'd say.
Yeah, but mate, we even like some of the people we've supported or seen at the stand, and that makes some of that, you can't write that shit. Like just the responses and the bluntness, the off the cuff, like that's a level of like switched on that I don't think I'm ever gonna really have.
What, like if somebody shouts something, you're not going to be able to like...
Well, we do respond, but there's just some of them, man, like there's some stuff I've seen where I'm like, that they are like naturally just the funniest,
shoot them down
people.
straight away and they turn into something that it isn't.
It's a level of wit to it, which I just think is it's so genius. I don't think you can teach that.
Nah, man, it's just you've either got it or you've no got it. I've always kind of went with the art of self-defecation. So if
Wait, I'm going to pull him up here. Hang on. That's fucking weird, mate. Self-defecation. Are you sure you meant to say that? Are you sure you meant to say that? Did you mean to say self-deprecation or self-defecation?
no, actual self-defecation.
You like to shake yourself?
Pretty much. Not literally.
I've
shite
gone so
yourself.
red because in my head, maybe I'm wrong here. Something really weird came into my head here.
Right?
You think of me actually shiting myself?
No, I don't even want to go into what I was thinking about.
He's just sitting and he's just like, I'm
Hypothetically,
fucking shite.
shiting yourself. Hypothetically.
So
So like if you balls
shit on
up,
yourself.
pretty much if you balls up or someone like says something to you while you're on stage and you don't have a comeback like for it as much, you just kind of take it on the chin.
Aye.
You'll be like, oh, aye, well, you're probably right there, aye, or you just laugh it off. That's self-defecation because
Right.
you're essentially taking away their
Stop saying that
ammunition.
word. I'm thinking about the weirdest stuff right now.
Tell us what came into your head there. when
Nah, I
you said
don't
it.
want
Go
it,
on.
man. Nah.
Does that get across what I'm
He's
saying?
talking about sucking himself off. What? I don't know why. I thought he was talking about sucking himself off.
You know how I deal with hecklers? I suck myself.
They don't know what to say. It's fucking... To be honest, mate, you definitely get your money's worth. It's so good.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, man.
So what's the sponsor we're going to get for that? People that can remove your ribs? Or
Hang on,
something?
so what's the word I'm thinking of then? It's just not it's obviously not defecation, it's something else. I swear it is though. It's a form of defecation.
Self-pleasure.
Self-pleasure.
No, but that's a
Fellatio.
bit beyond that though, eh?
You think fellatio?
Let's just move on because I can't look at you. Hey,
Fuck, I'm sweating.
Oh mate,
That was
Oh, man.
good.
that was a good laugh,
that
man.
was
Yep.
fun, man. So,
You're
you're
crying.
talking about it like I'm going to job, son. See you later.
If you could do that, would you?
What, actually just shite yourself on stage?
No shit
No,
yourself.
he's talking about the other thing. No, Connor, I'm moving on from this.
Right,
Right,
great.
no. I'll tell you what. I'll send you an essay afterwards. I'll send you an essay, and I'll provide a PowerPoint. But no, moving on. Actually, another question that I had is so right, it's 2022. This is actually so. I apologise. There's a lot of fucking silly laughter. It's actually the first time we've seen each other in a month now since the last gig.
Aye.
We would have had more gigs in between this if it hadn't been for the COVID situation at the minute.
The
So-
COVID situation.
The COVID.
Oh yeah. So I
You
we
just
missed.
love to point blame, don't you?
I don't know.
Did I have COVID?
You want COVID?
Kill me. But no, so we obviously missed out on a couple of gigs, which is disappointing. But hopefully they'll come back. But so we've had like a month to kind of think about stuff, and stuff's been going really well. I'd say if we do say so ourselves. So 2022, what we on a personal level, what are you wanting? Doesn't just have to be we like for us, but just what you anything you've kind of do you do that? Do you do resolutions and stuff or think about goals?
I kind of think about it, but I've not really set myself any this year. It's only a day with this really for the resolutions. I want
What are they?
to try and set us up so it next year we can do it full time.
right?
So like I don't think we'll get to that this
Yeah.
year, being able to do it full time. But I think if we have a good year this year,
Aye,
then it can
kinda
set us
sets-
up for next year.
Kind of sets the barrier for 2023, doesn't it? Yeah, I agree with that. Personally, to get a fucking car, mate.
Yeah.
Pass this. Pass this driving test, mate. Get a motor. Just makes it easier as well for doing what we're doing. See, to get to places.
100%.
That way we don't just like have to rely like on Connor driving all the time. Means he could also take a wee break and I could drive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So is that your big one then? Is there any Ouija's related stuff? Or?
But literally, it's on same par as
Just to
Connor.
be doing it.
Aye, just and probably like if it goes ahead, if we can manage going to America to do Scotfest, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I didn't even know if we were allowed to talk about that, but
Well,
if it's fucking happened now, so
yeah.
may as well. Yeah, there's a
Hopefully.
lot.
If we do it, do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
so there's obviously some exciting opportunities that may or may not happen
yeah,
over the next year. So I think for me, honestly, it's just to get to a point where like you don't have to constantly be like I would love just more opportunities to come in rather than have to keep
Chasing them.
Chasing them.
mm-hmm.
I think that would be a good position to be in, and to get a proper tour lined up.
yeah.
Because obviously we've done many stuff, but I think a proper one would be great.
Yeah, I also want to try and like I don't know what it is. I think it's just since we did like supporting for Gary Meikle at Alhambra, I've just kind of got a taste for doing big kind
The
of.
big ones are nice.
Oh, shit,
audiences,
him, yeah.
man. They're very, very.
We're asking
tasty,
for
man. I love it.
we're asking for a B-day in every place that we go to now.
Aye.
Oh, mate, it's a tidy shout.
Yeah,
I
no,
liked it.
stuff like that would be great, man. I think just again in agreement, just to be doing it, that it is all you have to do. That
For
would
shall.
be. That'd be.
I don't even know what I'd do with the rest of my time. See if we were doing this full time, what would you do with the time that where you would be working?
Mate,
during the
this is like a constant battle for any creative though. Like think about it. See if you get yourself in a position where your income is predominantly from like if say you're a touring comedian, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, you're in a big show or whatever, but your show is on the weekend. Say you're doing that a Friday, Saturday. But you're making enough income from that throughout the year that you've got all this other time.
Yeah.
You've then got to create this like balance, don't you? Of like, what do you do with the rest of your time? I think that's just, especially when you're grafting it in the first place to get to that point.
Yeah.
You're spending like all your time between trying to work a job and then doing this stuff. Like we didn't really have any weekends for a while. We were all working, so there's
Yeah.
really never
Yeah.
time to do stuff.
I'd be so full of energy. Like, see, you don't know how knackered I am sometimes. See, when we finish somewhere like Dunfermline, then I drive home, get in at 1 o'clock, and then I'm up at 5 for work.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely stinking. That'd be amazing. I could just like sleep all day. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I'd become a wee hermit.
Yeah.
I seen a thing about Robbie Williams. I don't know if you pay much attention to Robbie Williams. No, it's about this. It is.
Right,
it is. So he talked about doing. I don't know what the size of Wembley is, but Wembley is in the thousands and thousands. Right?
80,000, aye.
Is it? Is that what it is? Right. So he talked about doing a show at Wembley. It was 80,000 people, and he said that the adrenaline that you get from that is like unparalleled to like anything. He was like, it's like take drugs, and not to mention that it then takes plenty of drugs on top of that. But the point was, he would do this, 80,000 people. He would come off and he'd be in a hotel room himself. But he's such a rush of adrenaline that like he can't sleep. And it was that kind of mindset. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm going to keep going because I think it's an interesting conversation. Where he was basically like, so the drinking and all the other stuff that followed to keep the adrenaline going was quite justified given those situations. So I know we haven't really had any experiences like that where you get like a pure, but I have had that. We've done shows and you've got this like rush of adrenaline and like you want to keep going. I guess that's the other thing you'd need to learn to balance. Like if you were doing this full time and it was the only thing that you were doing, although it's something you've always wanted to do, you'd need to like control yourself a little bit, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because the one time that we went away somewhere else today, a gig and we were actually no staying in our house after it. We all got fucked up in Aberdeen.
Had a couple drinks.
Aye.
But yeah, It's just stuff to be aware of, isn't it?
That would be dangerous, wouldn't it? Us touring
Yeah.
every night. He'd be fucked up. He'd be in his bed for 10 o'clock getting the first train home.
Yeah, you would.
Get the you had to bring it up, didn't you?
Aye.
That's one of my biggest regrets, I think.
The uni night out,
Getting that fucked up on the Christmas night out at uni, man.
spewing in a bin.
Yeah, that wasn't,
know how I
that
managed
wasn't your glamorous thing.
You know the wee letterbox bins you get in the train? I managed to fucking jam my face right into that fucking, I was like, try to be sick into this bin. And then the conductor comes about and is like, what the fuck are you doing?
Would you say that's the most steaming you've ever been?
One of.
Right.
One of.
Yeah, one of. I've been in honking states before. I've been in states where you can't even bite your finger.
Yeah, like, I hope nobody like is close to like family or that sees this.
No, they know.
Yeah, you
They've
are
had
already, man.
They've seen it. I'm already.
I'm just thinking, looking at time. Do you think we should look at some questions then?
Sure, aye.
Just the facts, unless you just want. I mean, if feel free to keep talking about that while I get some questions up. Then
Do you want to know when I was steaming?
Right, what?
I think the most steaming that I've ever been was at a works night out. It was in the Hilton in Glasgow, and it was a GBX night, and I had too much to drink, so I went, right, I'm going to go to the toilet. I'm not going to do a shite, but I'm going to sit down, compose myself. I woke up like 3 hours later. The cubicle I was in was just covered in sick, right? And there's somebody chatting at the door. I'm like, oh fuck, that's the bouncer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up, walk out of here as if this mess in here wasn't me. So I walk out and I look at her and I go, all right, mate. And I walk out. Right? Everybody else is left. The night's over. I'm the last person to leave.
Oh no.
Aye. So like I had my suit on. I got it tailored for it and all that, covered in sick.
Oh
I was
man.
honking.
I love how you thought, right, I'm going to walk out and pretend this wasn't me, and yet the evidence was all over you.
Yeah. So what
right.
questions we got?
So, yeah, I got some good ones here. So, question from Tom Moriarty on Facebook. He said, "How would you lads expand the Scottish TV market if you could, particularly in comedy?" So, Elliot, we'll start with you. That's a tough question.
Fuck.
That's a tough question, and
How
you've
do you
asked the worst
expand
person to ask.
No, but I think it's something that we could probably all answer in a different way.
I don't know.
What do you mean expand it? Like,
What would you bring to it, basically, or like how would you make it different?
bring back adverts. Put adverts on BBC so everybody has to watch the adverts.
I thought he was more meaning for us.
Nah.
You just mean in
Bring
general.
back the adverts.
Bring back the adverts.
bring back the adverts.
No, that's a tough question.
I know.
Why have you gave us that one?
Because I think it's a good one to start with.
Right, do
Get
you want to
you-
answer it, please?
How would you lads expand the Scottish TV market if you could, particularly in comedy? I think there is, just like personally, I think there could be more, like, there's not really much music, like, obviously a big thing people talk about what we do is the musical stuff, like the songs.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
there's a bit of a gap for that, like having more musical comedy that's actually like you want to like sing along with. I like to think we can do that. It's the sort of stuff we do. So I think that sort of thing could be integrated into
Has that ever
sketch show.
been done before? Like,
Yeah, no, I mean you can I mean obviously like Billy Connolly's massive for some of the songs that he's done,
aye.
and obviously even the likes of Chewing the Fat and Still Game, they've had like even little jingles and
Oh,
stuff.
aye.
Aye.
Like they're sitting in the
Um,
pub and like the shelf is creaking.
Yeah. What's the other one that does hum de dum de dum de dum de dum de dum like
Aye,
that?
if you still game
Yeah,
like cutscenes and that. Aye.
It's just loads of things like that. But I think they bring quite a unique element to that sort of stuff that
Mhm.
might be good for it.
What channel would you get on? 1, 2, or 3? BBC 1, BBC 2, BBC 3, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5.
Anywhere that would take me.
Pretty much. Aye.
Touring yourself.
Anyone that's happy to have us.
But no, I think that would be that. Do you want another question?
Yes,
or,
please,
or do you want to answer it?
No, I'll avoid
you're
that. You've
alright,
answered
buddy.
it for us.
Here's a slightly easy, well not easy, but just a different one. What's the best chip shop in Glasgow?
Well, I don't stay in Glasgow anymore.
No, but just you know enough. You've been.
I'll
Where would you?
tell you where the best chip in Scotland is.
Okay, go for that.
Anstruther. You ever been?
No.
Nah.
No. Anstruther, up towards Aberdeen way. It's right on the coast. Queue is like an hour long outside, but it's class.
Okay, so I'm gonna do something here because I don't know how far we're in. I'm gonna assume we're like 35, 40 in. So if you have got this far and you're still listening, and you're from Scotland, let us know where your favourite chip shop in Scotland is before we go into this, because this is one of these discussions that people get quite heated about.
Aye, they get
See, takeaways or chippies and things like this is something that everybody has a stake in.
But they always say it's the local one. It's never like a far away one.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know the best
What
one.
would you say?
I really
Catch
don't.
is pretty
Nah,
good
I
next
don't
to
like
you?
it, mate.
No?
Don't like
Shite?
it. Nah.
Forget
Well, it's
the name
okay,
of
but
the-
Went off it.
What's the name of the one up by? It's literally like right across for like see High Street car park. Do you know what I'm talking
Will
about?
Lagoon.
No, it's like a pure Italian chip shop. So that's according to my dad, that's the best chippy.
I called it
According
to
to
my
my
dad.
That's-
See, this is what I mean. Everybody's got
That's the
it.
best chippy,
Aye.
like in Glasgow, apparently. But folk
Right.
will say it's Blue Lagoon because
Aye.
that fucking
Anybody
Justin
tell
Bieber's
us
been
your
there.
favourite chippy in Glasgow or whatever your favourite.
Have you ever said something at a show and never meant it? I think we kind of covered that earlier on our own.
Yeah.
But have you ever? Well, he's terrible for this. Connor, you're terrible for this.
What do you mean said
But
something
he
at a show
means
and
it
never
though.
meant it?
He means it. He shouldn't mean it, but he means it. I don't want to go too into this, right? Because I don't know how. It's not at PC, and we should keep this. We should keep it for comedy clubs. But that thing that you say about the Queen. We're not going into what he says about the Queen, but he says a thing about the Queen, and you know the worst part about it is you
Yeah.
see, even when this audience is of like 60 or like less, that's when obviously quieter audiences. So, but you still do it.
Yeah.
But that's one of those jokes that it's going to be Marmite. It's 50-50. So when you know the statistics that 50% of 60 is 30, and you can't you can barely fucking hear that.
See, the thing is with him, now like in comedy they say know your audience. He does know his audience, but he just does not give a fuck.
Aye.
I think that's where you do it to give me a heart attack.
I do it just because I think I like it better than people laughing. See, when people go, oh,
Aye, he loves shock and awe, not laughter. That's like he loves
That's
getting
weird.
folk thinking like, do you know what I mean? Like, oh my god.
But there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people that's like that is an element to.
Then I'm too busy laughing at him every time on stage because I'm like, what's with you?
Right. We're going to do a wee shift here. Going to go over to the TikTok audience
TikTok.
and see if there's any questions on this end. Now, some of these, right, are absolutely mental. I'm not going to ask them. So, are any of these actually worth using? What's it like living in Scotland?
Cold.
Wet, fucking
I think it's great.
cold, wet, full of midges. Fucking, aye.
You don't have to downplay it. I feel like everyone does it. Whenever they're asked about Scotland, it's always... If you're Scottish, the first thing you always say is, it's
Alright,
cold or it's
right,
wet.
right,
You don't have to downplay it. You can say...
Here's the thing, right? See, Scotland's beautiful, and they
It's
say
like
it's
that
very
concept.
much like New Zealand. All right, so aye.
How is it like New Zealand?
Have you ever
Is it-
been to New Zealand? It's like New Zealand, even though I've never been to New Zealand.
My pals are in New Zealand. They
Aye,
show us
that counts.
pictures and that all the
That
time.
counts.
So how is it like New Zealand?
It's pretty much the same, similar kind of landscape, except they get better summers like all the time, whereas ours is a hit and a miss.
Aye.
So
That's pretty much what it's like.
I can actually make that work into the next thing that I seen. That I
Right.
was going to ask. Probably the last question I'd ask. Best movie franchise. I know this is just a wee bit off, but I just think this is a sort of thing that everybody's got one. And you know why I'm doing this, because it's to call you out for something
Right.
that I'm glad we're on the topic of.
Uh-huh.
But what's your favourite movie franchise then, Connor?
I like Toy Story.
To be fair, man, Toy
Is that
Story's
alright?
That is good.
We got a problem with that?
No, I've not got a problem with that. That's a good answer.
That is a good answer. Lord of the Rings, mate,
Lord of the Rings.
without a doubt.
You see, Lord of the Rings would have been mine if it hadn't been for the fact that for most of my childhood, I was basically called Gollum. So if it hadn't been for the fact that I identified with Lord of the Rings as a physical as a physical thing, then I probably would have considered that as well. So but it's brilliant. It is brilliant. Mine actually probably would be Harry Potter though, in all seriousness,
Aye.
because there's 8 of them, and for me it's the variation. I like having that many, and there's so many different directors as well that there's different qualities in each one.
Right. I could never watch Star Wars because... No, what was it? Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Star Wars.
You've not look, just to
One is not
clarify.
well,
He's so Connor is a 26-year-old man has never in his life seen Star Wars. I'm gonna say Harry Potter because although you've watched bits, you haven't.
I've
though.
seen them all, but not in order.
Yeah, but you've not. Well, that kind of ruins it.
Right.
He doesn't know Harry Potter properly. He's not seen Lord of the Rings, any of them, any of the Hobbits.
No.
Is there anything else we're missing? Let me get. I bet you've seen Night in the Museum, though, haven't you?
I've seen
You're
one.
that kind of kid,
I've seen
aren't you?
number one.
You're that kind of kid.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Night in the Museum,
Yeah.
best movie ever.
Well, at least I know what the Lord of the Rings music is like because of you.
Oh yeah.
You fell asleep. Like, I remember that actually when
So-
we were.
While we're on the subject of this, I did something the other night. I don't know if any of you know what this is. It's called shifting. You heard of this?
Shifting.
Yeah. So basically, it's blown my mind. Shifting is apparently where you get yourself. Oh, this is painful.
Your back is
It's so sore. Fuck. You get yourself into this. It's like sleeping, but it's very visual. It's kind of like lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is where you kind of. Am I right in thinking it's when you remember most of what's going on almost to a point of you being aware of it?
Feels like it's real when you can kind
Yeah,
of control things a wee
I
bit.
might be wrong on that, but I think that's what lucid dreaming is. But shifting is apparently where you remember the whole thing start to finish to the point where you're actually in control of it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I might be a little bit off my definition there, but I basically had this thing the other night where I had Harry Potter music on in the background. I woke up and mate, it was so weird. I woke up in the room that I'd fallen asleep in, and I was walking about the house. No,
Right.
I wasn't awake though. I could still hear this Harry Potter music going on. I was like, where is that music coming from? I need to turn that off. Take my phone out, trying to turn the music off, but it won't go off. So I'm like, right, this is weird. Go downstairs to try and find like a speaker or something to try and turn it off. Couldn't find anything. Tom Holland's there. Tom Holland's there at my front door, and I open the front door and I'm like, this is weird. You shouldn't be here. And he looked at me and he's like, yeah, this is weird. I shouldn't be here. But it's that thing. But in dreams, all that stuff kind of makes sense, right? That in that moment in time, it makes sense. But it was almost as if I was aware that this was really weird. Anyway, I remembered the music again, and then I realized I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm asleep," and then that's when I woke up.
And the music was playing.
Music was playing, and I turned it off.
That's fucked up.
Apparently, but from what I've read, apparently that's shifting. Now I don't know if like how much I believe in that or read into it, but apparently that's a thing.
It's fucking weird.
You ever had something like that?
That's a pure heat fuck. Nah,
Yeah?
I've slept walk, but I've never done that.
I think I've heard him talking in his sleep.
I think I do sometimes. I've slept walk a belter, but I get home for the pub one night and literally went straight into my bed, got up, went to the toilet, like that's all I remember. And then I woke up next morning and my dad just rolled over me like, morning. I fell asleep beside my dad in his bed and I was like, oh God, no. It's the worst sight ever to wake up to. It's fucking it's horrible.
Check that, it's like the alcohol as well, but
Probably, man. It's a good laugh, but
No, I've never slept walked. I got steaming once on holiday when I was 9. So the bartender was like putting vodka in my drink. It kind of sounds dodgy when you think about it now, but
he was
I think this is maybe.
so I had like a Red Bull and like he was trying to take me in, wasn't he? And I was obviously steaming. My mum took me home to the hotel, and I was lying in my dream. I was lying on the floor outside the bathroom, and I needed to be sick. So I was like, I better stand up and turn the light off. The light on to be sick in the bathroom. And then I woke up and I was standing on the bed, like slapping the wall, right? Looking for a light switch.
Like
and my mum turned the light on and was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I thought I was outside the bathroom trying to put the light on, but I was still on the bed bouncing about.
But again, do you think that's like something that's? But you've definitely told me that you've had a lucid dream before.
I think I speak me in my sleep. Like I do weird shit like I bark in my sleep and all that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll lie down.
No, you fucking jolt. See, I was asleep, like obviously in Aberdeen when we were away doing the show. I was in the bed with him, right, and then before you know it, he kicks and he jolts, and then more to the point, he fucking rolls on you, not at all. You're like, I couldn't sleep that entire night. Mixed with that, and then the music of fucking Mordor. like getting bled because you forgot to turn the music off, and you're like, oh fucking hell.
maybe that's another reason as to why that sort of stuff happened to me, because I can't sleep without anything on in the background.
That's
But this is a sort of new thing. I never used to be like that. It's only really within the last couple of years I've got to a point where I can't actually get to sleep unless there's a light on, or unless there's like something on in the
so you're not left
background.
with your thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, that's deep.
That's what it is.
I don't know what it is, mate. Honestly,
Well, it's because your brain overthinks, and if you don't have that, you'll just start thinking about like everything.
There's that too. There is that. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah. Super interesting.
To the point that we've actually just stopped talking about it.
What's the next question, if there's any?
Oh, mate, there was a few, but do you know what? I think we kind of got it to a point where, like, I think we should move on to maybe what we think what we want to do with it, actually, with this. Why did we want to do this? I don't think we actually said that. I said, well, yeah, we want to do a Scottish comedy podcast, but we haven't actually said the reason for doing it. Do you have a reason? I've got one, but I'd love to know what yours is.
What's your reason?
I think it's not. It's. I don't know how much. Maybe there is a lot of this at the minute. I'm just not aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
But from doing the online stuff and mixing it in with the live shows, you're starting to notice like a kind of new wave of like people that come onto the scene. You've got like your internet stuff that is like pushing people like way out into the limelight in any aspect of it's not just comedy and everything. And then you've got like, you know, like people doing it with music, like Nathan Evans and how that projected him onto the music scene. And I think it would just be, it's just interesting to have like a podcast where we can kind of explore like guys that have really come up in the comedy scene, whether it's through the online stuff or have been doing this for years, touring and growing their base up that way. Because we've kind of had a bit of a mix of the both, I'd say.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be interesting to talk to people that are doing that in Scotland, because mate, Scotland is absolutely thriving at the minute with how much funny folk there are. But there's actually so many. Because when I think, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I think back to when I was younger, I can kind of name on my hand the kind of 5 people that I looked up to for comedy. Billy Connolly, Ford Kieran, Greg Hempel, Rab Florence, Lemmy, and Ian Connell as well. But you know, the kind of Still Game, Chewing the Fat, Lemmy show at Barnstead. So those were the kind of, but now you've got so much because of the internet. You've got all those guys, but you've also got like just whether from like TikTokers to Instagrammers to everything that's on the comedy scene. There's so much to choose from.
It's mad how like all it takes is you just need a phone and you can sit in your room and become this mad famous anything really, which is, imagine that being 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, it's weird because I think we're also hitting this way where people are totally normalising having that much of a following. But in actual fact, having 150,000 followers isn't a big deal anymore. Because on the scale of things, it's taken people to get into the millions to actually start making a job out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas YouTube a couple of years ago, you could get like 1 million, 2 million, and that's, you know,
you're the
set.
biggest deal about.
So it's pure weird. I just think it would be cool to get some of these guys in the Scottish.
Yeah. It'd be good just to chat to people as well, because if you see their internet personality, it'd be good to like just sit down and chat with some people and see what's your story.
Exactly. So in that case, if there's anyone that you guys would like to see us get on to stop us spouting absolute randomness to each other, if there's anyone that you're particularly interested in, a favourite comedian in Scotland or even an internet comedian or whatever, if there's anyone you would like to see on here, let us know and we'll try our best to get them in.
Yeah.
I mean, we say specifically Scottish, but really it doesn't matter.
We'll take anybody.
Take anybody.
And let's be honest, that's not going to stop us spouting shite. I'm just making that well and truly
We're
aware.
still going to suck ourselves up.
What was it?
Self-defecation.
Yeah, I swear I'm going to go look this up. No, that's weird. I just the definition. I'm just going to look the definition up after to make sure that what I was trying to find out. Just dug a hole, haven't I?
Yep.
I'm just going to leave it there.
We know what your evening activities
Well, I don't
are
usually
gonna be.
drink coffee, so I feel a bit buzzed.
Are you drinking the coffee?
What did you get me? Is that a latte? Is that the milky one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Wayne.
You always just get a wee hot chocolate.
Oh, they don't do that in Subway. I was really disappointed. But no, I think that's probably us. Is there anything you just want to say? Any outro you want to give? Or
No, I done the intro and it was beautiful. So
I feel like I've done a lot of talking, so Elliot, do you want to
You
fire
can do
away?
the outro.
Just thanks very much for listening in. We've had a blast doing this. I like to think for a good laugh. Hopefully we've not made too much an arse of ourselves, or made an arse of myself, but who knows. But thanks very much for tuning in, guys.
Cool, yeah, thanks for that, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Can I thought the thing I do? I texted after beers wasted, and I never thought I'd be